Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm Evelyn, host Shorty, and today we are returning to Fairyland for I Hate Fairyland, which is interesting and entertaining to me in a couple of reasons. First off, this comic book came in on New Comic Book Day, and on that day, one of my relatively new regular customers asked me what it was about. And I had to just be honest, I've never read it. But I told him it's effectively a story of a young girl who gets magically transported to Fairyland, spends far too long there, goes insane, hates everything, and murders as many people as possible. I think she's escaped now. And it turns out I based that on nothing but the covers of this comic book. Not this one particularly, obviously the previous ones, because we did sell them. But I've never read a single issue, even though we do have issue 1 of the original series in stock, plus a few random ones. And I've never even read the back of a trade or solicitation information for it. I had no idea if that was true or not, but we do get a handy little thing here in the beginning. Scott Young basically telling you what it is, and also some self-deprecating jokes about Middle West and the Me You Love in the Dark. And it turns out I was right. Just nice to know. And also, anyone who says you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, go and jump in the sea. I got it 100% right, and I'm sticking by my guns. So, do I like this one? I mean, I'm guessing that's why you're here. Yes, I did. And it's unusual for me to say this because I'm going against type a little bit here, and I'm saying this is a funny book. Explicitly, humour is a driving force in the narrative and the art, and for me, usually that is a turn-off. I don't find funny books particularly good. I don't know if this is just me being hard to please, it almost certainly is, but I prefer a slightly dry humour, and I prefer it to come across through the narrative rather than just be jokes. And this one is clearly trying to be funny, explicitly trying to be funny, and weirdly it still works for me. And it took me a while to figure out exactly why I was engaging with it more than I was expecting to. And it's not an easy one, because the artwork, even though it's not Scott Young artwork inside, I genuinely thought it was when I picked it up. It's drawn by Brett Bean, though. But it's very similar style. I mean, I can just very quickly show you a double-page spread there. And if you're familiar with Young's artwork, you'll know that that is very similar in terms of style. And it's also used for quite good comedic effect. At one point, there's a guy who appears to have magical lightning testicles, and you can't help but feel that he's not a serious character. And he's also exceptionally violent, I was going to use it explicitly quite a lot here. It is just so over the top violent. I mean, there's no hiding from it. Like, people's heads are exploding, axes are flying everywhere, there is death and dismemberment. You cannot escape the sheer bloody-minded levels of violence in this comic book, but it is done in such a style that you cannot take it seriously. It is unfathomably over the top, and as such, it's just part of the humour of the world. The fact that this is, or at least it was, a small girl called Gertrude, beating the ever-loving snot out of fantasy characters, and doing it in such a way that it goes against the type of what you expect to be a fairy tale fantasy adventure. All well and good, but it's still funny, and it's still trying to be funny, so why did it work? Well, one of my favourite odd little things in the world is Invader Zim. Big fan of Jonas Vasquez's work, have been for quite some time, and yes, I know it's kind of edgy, and when I was a younger man, like in my 1920 kind of age, reading John Harmon's Maniac, and then going on to Squee and Filler Bunny, yeah, it was kind of edgy, cool kind of thing, and I was never a goth, I'm a metalhead, but I still kind of got his vibe, and I quite enjoyed it, but I never really stopped liking it. I never got to a point where I look back on it and be ashamed of being such a big fan. And then a TV series called Invader Zim, and I loved it, because that is a kids show. Cannot deny the fact that it's a kids show, but it's also about an alien who steals people's organs after getting kicked in his squiddly spooch. Not making any of that up, by the way. Go and watch it, it's absolutely amazing. And it's the same kind of humour in this. It's over the top and daft and silly, but it's also kind of joyous and really hard to be offended by it, even though it is clearly terrifying and terrible at times, and I'd use that as not in a negative way, but because it is engaging so well with trying to be an almost parody of itself, or a parody of what it's riffing on, it works for me. And Young knows his audience really well, I think. He's not trying to be funny in like any kind of subtle way. He's not trying to really get to grips with socioeconomic policy or anything like that. He's just having fun. And that comes across so well that it's hard to do anything other than join in with the fun of it. And yes, the artist is also fantastic, and they have an awful lot of fun with like the Smiley Suns and all that kind of stuff. Like genuinely easygoing, enjoyable, but be prepared to occasionally have what the F moments, because yeah, it goes some places. And also, she works for a place called Dragon Dog, which is a dragon with a hot dog in its mouth. And when she deals with the customers, as somebody who's worked in customer service for a very long time, loved it, absolutely loved it. Yeah, huge thumbs up for this one. Highly recommend it. Give it a shot if you're looking to see a copy. That's it from me today. There might be another one turning up on Saturday. I'm not sure yet. Depends if you've got the time to read and review anything. But if you do want to see it and don't want to miss out, just in case, make sure you hit the subscribe button. But either way, I'll see you all at some point in the future. Look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.